this entire year.
We have not.
Yeah, maybe it's because.
All right, now we're talking about fire drills.
Maybe.
All right, hey, we are doing causes of World War II. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but we had to go to Plan B, so we're moving back to Plan A today. So here we go. Okay, you will see all this under your classwork, obviously. All right, here we go. You probably won't quit talking. Pay attention. Okay, might want to quit talking. Pay attention. Call it back again. You get 3 out of 10 right. You made 30%. I didn't give it to you. That's what you earned. All right. Now then, there were many events throughout the world that led to the beginning of World War II. Okay?
Okay.
World War II was a direct result of the turmoil left behind by World War I in all reality. We talked about that when we discussed World War I, if you remember. All right. What was the name of the treaty that ended World War I? What was it?
Treaty of Paris? Or Versailles?
Versailles. Okay. That ended World War I between Germany and the Allied powers. Okay? That's World War I. Because Germany had lost the war, the treaty was very harsh against Germany. And Germany was forced to accept responsibility of the war damages suffered by the Allies. The treaty required that Germany paid a huge sum of money.
Which they didn't have.
Okay? That they didn't have. Okay? The problem with the treaty is that it left the German economy in ruins. And people were starving, and the government was in chaos. Okay, remember they lost land, they had to pay big money, the military was cut down. So their whole country is in chaos. Okay? In that period before World War II, Japan was growing rapidly. Okay? However, as an island nation, they did not have the land or the natural resources to sustain their growth. So Japan began to look to grow their empire in order to gain new resources. So they invaded, in 1931, they went into China. Okay? Actually, they invaded Manchuria in 1931. They went into China in 1937. Manchuria is part of China, is a separate part. But they actually invade, this little island nation actually invades China.
I mean, they're strong. And freaking win.
They're
not afraid of dying.
Again, if you got something to share, raise your hand. Okay? Because all of you are experts on World War II, but all you do is talk over each other and no one has a clue what you're saying. Yes, dear.
This is the part where
Okay.
So who? This is the part where I geek out.
What you need? What?
So when they took over China, it wasn't like China had.
Well, they didn't take over China. I mean, they just invaded China.
They invaded China.
Wait, who invaded?
Well,
Seriously,
so what happened was, they took over like major cities, like Shanghai, which was like, it was a port city that connected them to like that was their main port city.
Yep.
And like they blew through there, and then there's just this one warehouse that stood, and they couldn't bomb it. Japan couldn't bomb it because there was the embassies to the other nations on the other side of the river.
Okay.
And
Wrap
then
it up, son. Let's go.
it was the Southern warehouse, and there were 400 men, Chinese men, like armed to the
See,
teeth.
all this is really good, and this is good stuff. But the way we're trying to do this right now, you got about 90% of this class is going to be totally confused because none of that is on any of this. It's good stuff, and I enjoy it, and I love the fact that you know that. But let's get through this, and then let's get through this, and then anybody that has additional information, we will go back and let you share it at that point in time. How's that? Okay? Let's try that. Let's get through this first. Okay. Japanese expansion. In a period before World War II, Japan, oh, we did that already. Fascism. Okay, in the economic turmoil left behind by World War I, some countries was taken over by dictators who formed powerful fascist governments. And these dictators wanted to expand their empires and were looking for new lands to conquer. The first fascist government was Italy, which was ruled by a dictator named Mussolini.
That sounds like a possible.
Italy invaded and took over Ethiopia in 1935. Adolf Hitler would later emulate, which means he copied, Mussolini in his takeover of Germany.
Oh gosh, imagine coughing.
Okay? Another fascism government was Spain, which was ruled by dictator Franco. Okay? So you're starting to see dictators take over a lot of, after World War I ends, a lot, because the world is in chaos, kind of. So you're starting to see a lot of dictators pop up and take over.
Say, hey, I'll make your life
Okay.
better. Just sign this fine print form.
I own you now.
Hitler and the Nazi Party.
No, where's that?
In Germany, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party rose to power. The Germans were desperate for someone to turn their economy and restore their national pride. Hitler offered them hope. In 1934, Hitler was proclaimed the Führer. That's a leader, okay? Heil Führer, that was what they did, their little silly salute. Okay? And he becomes the dictator of Germany. Again, he wins the election of chancellor, which is basically their president. He actually wins the election. The people votes him in. Once he gets voted in, that's when he kind of makes the announcement, oh, by the way, I'm here to stay. Okay, there's no more, there will be no more elections.
Holding the number 8,
Yeah.
turns it to the side.
Okay. So Hitler resented the restrictions put on Germany by the Treaty of Versailles and talked about peace. Hitler began to rearm Germany. He allied Germany with Mussolini in Italy. Then Hitler looked to restore Germany to power by expanding his empire. And he took over Austria in 1938. When the League of Nations did nothing to stop him, they just kind of thought, well, you know, it's no big deal. It's just Austria. He became bolder, and then he took over Czechoslovakia in 1939.
That's fun to say.
Okay? After World War I, the nations of Europe are a little bit weary, and they really don't want to go to war again. Okay? So when countries such as Italy and Germany becomes aggressive and begins to take over their neighbors and build up their arms, countries like Berlin and France hope to keep the peace through appeasement. Okay? This meant that they tried to make Germany and Hitler happy rather than try to stop him.
Oh, you can have that
Okay.
thing, but no more.
They hoped that by meeting his demands, he would be satisfied and there would not be any war. So they're kind of hoping, okay, we're going to let him take over these countries because it really doesn't affect us, and then maybe he'll stop. Didn't work. Unfortunately, the policy of appeasement backfired, and it only made Hitler bolder. Okay, it's kind of like a sixth grader that is breaking the rules and no one stops him. So he's just going to keep breaking more rules because who's going to stop him, right? He's going to keep going until someone stands up to him.
And then
It's no different. I mean, that's kind of an analogy there.
The first person who tried.
Hold up, I said let me finish this and then we'll talk. It also gave him time to build up his army. Okay? So the period before World War II was a time of great economic suffering throughout the world called the Great Depression. We all know that.
And the funny one.
Many people were out of work, struggling to survive, and this created more unstable governments around the world. And basically the world is just up in arms. I mean, it's just in turmoil. But after World War I, everything got pretty decent in a lot of these countries, but then everything goes crazy again. The Great Depression comes in. So it's not a good time. Okay? Interesting facts. Because of the Great Depressions, many countries were experiencing strong fascism and communist movements, including France and Great Britain prior to the war. Prior to World War II, the United States attempted to stay out of world issues with a policy of isolation. In other words, we did not get involved in stuff. They were not members of the League of Nations. If you remember, President Wilson, our president at the time, it was his idea for the League of Nations, but yet our Congress and Senate voted not to join it. Okay, so we're not even part of it, and it was our president's idea. And as part of their appeasement policy, Britain and France agreed to let Hitler have part of Czechoslovakia in Munich, in the Munich Agreement. Okay, Czechoslovakia had no say in the deal. Okay.
Yeah, like, wait.
The Czechoslovakian called the agreement the Munich betrayal, because they felt they had been betrayed by France and Great Britain. Okay? Japan takes over Korea, and they hold Korea up through, up to the end of the war. But they take over Korea, Manchuria, and a significant part of China before World War II ever starts. So we let these fascist countries kind of get a toehold and grow their empire before anyone ever stepped in to try to stop them, because the thought was, we will appease them, let them have it, we don't want war, we're going to just let them do what they want. Then maybe they'll stop. But it's like the bully, okay? If you let the bully continue to bully you, he's not going to stop. He's just going to get more aggressive. And that's what these guys did. Okay? Same idea. All righty? Okay. Well, that wasn't too bad. About 12 minutes and 5 seconds. More if I keep talking. So I will quit. Bye-bye.